Jumping over to wide receivers. Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Juwan Jennings, Pearsall. What do you
Wait,
give the wide
say it again. I'm sorry.
Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Juwan Jennings, and Pearsall, the wide receivers. What grade do you give this batch of wide receivers?
A batch as a whole?
Batches, I feel like you need to do batch because Ayuk didn't play half a season.
Ayuk an F, Deebo an F, Pearsall.
Give it Ayuk an F.
Yeah, he's terrible. He held out for his contract. He held out for his contract. Came back and got injured. What a bum. He came back and underperformed. Didn't I say he was going to underperform, and he did that? Anyways, going on to Deebo. I mean, he had his hot moments, but I'm sorry, he had a terrible season. And I love Deebo, so I don't want to bash the guy. I'm not going to. He just had a bad season.
F for his greatness at the end is because he got great when it didn't fucking matter. So, like,
I mean, I love Deebo, but he had a bad season, and it's not because he wasn't getting the ball. Juwan, I'll give him a C+ because I still think he's a. I'll give him a B minus just because I think he's still a great receiver. I don't think he still got 77 receptions. I think they could have targeted him a little bit more and used him a little bit more in the offense. He was kind of the forgotten receiver, I felt, at some times. I know he doesn't get that separation, but still, I think they could have planned some routes and some things around him.
That's a good job.
Pearsall, I would say a B, just because to come back after what happened to him and things like that. He struggled a little bit, which is expected, but then really kind of found his footing in the offense. And I think he's going to be a great fit for us. And I think he's going to be a future wide receiver for us. And I think he's going to be
if I can get somewhat back to his original self next to Pearsall,
that's going to be dangerous. That's why, I think Ayuk, I give him an F this season just because I'm pissed off about him holding out for his contract. Comes in out of shape, looks like crap. And who's Ronnie Bell? It comes in and looks like crap. And,
negative force of nature.
It just, it's really, it was bad. I mean, it's like I talked about this. You're not in football shape, and it showed. He was in terrible shape. He looked like it, and then he gets injured. So I'm not even going to give him. He shouldn't even get a grade because he didn't technically play to me. Yeah, he was irrelevant this season. He wasn't when he was on the field. People were like, just let him throw him the ball. He's going to drop it.
Confident. Okay. All right. So you gave Ayuk an F, Deebo an F, Juwan C+.
A B.
A B. Sorry, you give him a B. I think he. There's some balls I felt like he dropped, but I think
those were more under pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he deserves an A. A minus. Those drop balls were crucial, but like I feel like Juwan Jennings is amazing, but there's certain things he can't do, and I don't want to hold that against him. Like he can't get that massive separation.
There's improvement. It's because he's not that speedy receiver. He's that big guy, so they need to plan routes around that. And they're trying to use him as an Ayuk or a Deebo, and they need to plan those routes around that big wide receiver.
Yeah.
So,
then you get Pearsall what?
B, just because of what he came back from.
Ooh. Okay. So, all right. Okay, that's wild. I don't think Pearsall deserves a B for that. Like, I understand that he came back and he deserved a little bit, but he still had that. It's almost as if I'm conflicted. Like, I agree with you on some point, but at the same time, it's like the ball was still thrown to him on certain moments where, like, he should have just kept running on a deep route once, and Purdy threw it deep, and he quit on the route looking back. If you're a wide receiver, man, you need to run in stride and look back.
That's just building rapport with your quarterback, right? That's going to come with time. And so he didn't have enough time, I feel like, this season to build that rapport with Brock Purdy, being a rookie when you have a player like Ayuk, Jennings, Deebo, George Kittle. So you're not getting probably enough time to build that rapport with a Brock Purdy. Even though you're the top pick of your team, doesn't matter when you have those studs on your team, right? So, I mean, it's not like he's going to be his number one go-to guy. So
If
I
he
give him a
didn't,
pass
okay,
on
okay,
that.
okay. What grade would you give him if he did not have these great last few games? If Pearsall did not have these last 2 games, do you think it would have mattered, or would you have given a grade being like it's not fair because he missed half the season coming back from being shot, and he didn't have that training camp, didn't have preseason? Would you have given him a grade?
Would I give him a grade if he wouldn't have came back? What?
If he didn't perform?
If
So
he didn't perform, no, I'd
excuse.
already give him a C. I'd probably give him an average grade.
What his
But
situation
yeah,
was.
I think his situation impacted his season more than anything. I think he would have had a better season if not for that. It would have built more time learning. Yeah, like Starber's saying, learning the offense on the fly. I mean, as a rookie, that's a lot to learn. And then, like I said, not getting repetitions with your quarterback.
And games that really
He
mattered.
probably had more repetition with Dobbs and Allen than he did with Purdy. So I think next season he's gonna have a lot more. He's gonna come out and probably have that A plus season. You know what I mean? Next season, I think that's where you kind of hold more against him than you do
Ayuk
this
was
season.
definitely targeted enough.
Yeah,
he was targeted 47 times through 7 games. That's targeted enough. But all right, so my grades for Ayuk, I'm going to give him a D plus, a D, because he did still in 7 games have 374 yards. He did have 25 receptions, and his average was 15 yards a catch, which means when he got the ball, it was.
How many drops did he have?
I understand that he had some drops, but that's the point. Is like he still had some good. There's bottom of the barrel bad, and there's like, okay, you add a little bit to the cup, and he added some things.
I think his cup overflows.
He had 19 first down catches. He had 19.
I think he had more drops than he did first down catches, didn't he?
All right. No, he had more first down catches. To keep that in mind, Pearsall had 19 first down catches. Juwan Jennings had 47. Debo had 28. So Ayuk did do something, and he showed something. But the problem is he had 47 targets, 25 receptions. So I agree. Drops. He had some issues running the routes. The connection wasn't there with Brock.
He was slow. He was fat. He was out of shape. Like he was terrible. He was terrible. That his holdout is what injured him.
Still mad Bo dropped that dime from Purdy in week 1.
Yeah, I mean that was terrible. His holdout is what injured him.
So next
I give him an F based off that. His holdout. That was stupid. Wasn't even worth it.
Wasn't even worth it. I think you should still sign him. I just didn't know that this was. I thought you should still sign him. I just didn't know this was going to happen. And if next year he repeats this performance, I'll agree with you. Shouldn't have signed him.
Hey, yeah. I mean, if next year he comes out and balls, great. Then it was worth signing him. But if he comes out
as of right now,
and if he's a dud, then God, just fucking get him off the team.
Debo, I'm going to give a flat out F. He's the only guy on this team, one of very few guys on this team that had zero excuse. I mean, he had none. The team needed him the most this year with Ayuk being out, offensive line, running back, Kittle having to play 6 offensive linemen. Juwan Jennings can't be that separator guy, but he's still good, but he does have a cap. Debo was that guy, and we needed him the most, and he wasn't there. Against the Rams, above all, the Rams game, Jesus fucking Christ. In the Packers game, too many drops. Jeez, I know Brandon Allen's out there, but he fucked up. Like when we needed him the most, he would not show up. When we didn't even need him, he would do nothing but lose us yards. He did nothing. He would
show sparks every once in a while, and it's like, dude, where's this been this whole entire season? We needed you, and I love Debo. I still believe in him, but no, I don't. I can't say I still believe in him. I think he's lost a lot. I think the way we used him,
he's a running back, like you said. His life is up.
I think his life expectancy is up. I think he's been beat up a lot the way we used him, and unfortunately, I think he's just a product of the system where he just got the hell beat out of him, and he's kind of expired at that spot. So,
and I just think that he didn't give us. I can't think of a game this year where I'm like that was a Debo game. I can't think to myself like, hey, as a wide receiver or whatever he is, I didn't think to myself, oh my God, he performed on this game, which caused us to win or kept it close. I can't think of a single game where he mattered at all. Yeah, there was like some plays, like 1 or 2 plays throughout the entire season
Yeah.
But you could argue he's the reason, one of the major reasons why we had such a terrible season. Because when we needed him the most, Brock needed him the most. And when we forced the issue to him and we made it about him, right, especially with that Twitter bullshit that he pulled off, and then comes back and does like the lamest performance ever and not being self-aware, he cost us this game. He cost us the playoffs. It's absolutely, you cannot, I'm sorry, F. There's nothing good about Deebo Samuel this year. From being off this field problem to being an on the field problem to being this supposedly name brand player to just being a fucking dumpster, a fucking waste management dumpster can. Okay, that's what he was today this year. All right, it drives me nuts. Deebo gets an F. Juwan, I'm gonna give him a B plus, A. He had some moments here and there, but for who he was and what he's capable of, and based on the lack of offensive line and his separation ability, I think he was a bright spot, phenomenal. I guess you can dock him for his attitude as of late, like towards the end of the season when like the season was over, he's kind of letting his attitude get to him a little bit, costing us some games, costing us drives, etc. So you want to knock him for that. He needs to control his emotions a little bit better. Even if the other player starts it, let them get the penalty. Let them get the penalty. Like no 49ers fan is going to look at you and be like, yeah, you should beat the fuck out of him. No one's going to think that. So I think he's a dock for his attitude a little bit. But I think considering what he was doing and what he was doing for Brock Purdy, he gets a B plus, A minus for me. Pearsall, you convinced me. All right. He looks like he has a bright future based on what he's showing and what he could do. I'll give him a B. I'll give him a grade. I almost was like, don't give him a grade, but I'll give him a B. I'll jump on board with the B then. I was gonna give him a worse grade, but I'll get on board with that.